Bum 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 bum. The Peter Like Show. Bum 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 bum. All right, time for a little bit of a financial prayer. I want the God of Likes to entrust me with more opportunities to travel and otherwise socialize with other people more. And here's why. I find that the best way to get over my social anxiety is to actually practice it. So, for example, I recently took a flight to Houston, and there were a lot of good came of it in terms of practicing my social anxiety. Getting on a plane where it's crowded, you know, is tricky for me. Not to mention, I have food allergies. I have to be careful when sitting in such proximity to people who are eating, and I usually have to ask these people to be mindful of that. And it was good practice. I wasn't nervous. I'm a lot more relaxed nowadays compared to in times past. I find the best way to do this is when I sit down on the plane to introduce myself, what I'm doing on the trip. Hey, I'm going to Houston to visit a girlfriend. What are you doing? Oh, I'm going home to Houston, and I notice you have a good camera. What do you like to take a picture of? Oh, I have an Instagram and all that. And after a few rapport building kind of discussions like that, to bring, hey, there's something I want you to know. If could you do me a favor? Yeah, what's going on? Um, During the flight, if you need to eat, it's okay, but I have food allergy. Just be mindful to keep your food in your area. I find that's the best way to do it. If you wait till they're ready to eat before you bring it up, first of all, you're going to have to bring it up in a rush, right? They're about to open something that might be tricky. And second, most people, when they're ready to eat, they get really anticipatory of their food, right? And it's a big change if they have to do something at that moment, right? So I find the best way to do it is to bring it up as you board the flight, but you have to bring up the rapport first, right? But that came from a lot of trial and error, from a lot of travels. I wish I could be doing that more. I'm no longer nervous about it when I bring it up. It's just like any other ask, right? It's just like ordering something, right? At a store, right? It's no longer a big deal anymore, right? In fact, sometimes it becomes a bigger deal for the person on the receiving end of that conversation than it is for me, right? They sometimes I do this, and the person says, their kid or their parent is also having allergies. Do you have any tips? Sometimes the person receiving the message thinks it's an even bigger deal than I am these days. That's how good I've gotten at it, and I love it. I had a little bit of an issue when I went through airport security at Phoenix, though. You see, nowadays at the airport, you're no longer required to take off your shoes or even take your laptop out of the bag. The problem is that I have a laptop that's kind of falling apart, many years old, and also, you guys may remember the gift that I gave to the girl in Houston. It was a geode crystal, and both of those things were very fragile. And I knew the geode especially would attract a lot of attention they were going to look at it anyway. And I wanted to make sure it would be in a safe condition for them to handle when they got it. I didn't want anybody to dig it out of the bag themselves. And so I got to airport security, and I was fumbling with my bag, and security was like, sir, you don't need to take that out. And I ignored him, and I said, there's something fragile in here. Don't worry about it. And things like that used to give me on edge. Somebody shouting over me, ordering me around, and I'm more confident with it nowadays. The only mistake I made was that once I got on the flight, I got a little bit anxious because of what happened in D.C., and I wanted to take my mind off of that. And so I jokingly asked the guy in front of me if he would mind if I kicked his seat. And it caused a little bit of tension. Fortunately, I've learned if you make a mistake, laugh it off. Don't try to just rush to defend yourself and oh my God, haha, that was funny. I had a situation where I had to laugh things off too. When I finally met up with the girl and we went to the restaurant, they messed up on my order twice. First, I looked at the menu and I ordered what I thought was a grilled chicken salad. And I asked about additives, I asked about sugar and all that, and there's no big deal. It's a sandwich with bread, and who knows what's in that bread. And then they took it back, and I explained to them Then they brought out a salad with all sorts of crap in it. And, I learned to just laugh at, oh my God, haha, so I did, that's too bad that I can't have this, and let's be careful. What exactly is in here? Just so we don't have to spend all night here and just laugh. I've learned that, but this is something that has taken me a lot of practice, a lot of dates that I messed up, a lot of flights that have caused a lot of tension, and I wish I could be doing that more. Obviously, I cannot afford to fly to Houston every week or even every month, right? That's why I'm asking for the God of Likes to entrust me a little bit. Another thing and this one a lot of people have laughed at me for. A lot of people laugh that I offer these rewards for somebody to set me up on a blind date. Here's the thing. It's not just the concept that I might meet the right person when somebody sets me up on a blind date. It's actually these interactions that allow me to practice. And you may not realize it, but every time I do this, I feel a lot stronger. Unfortunately, I can scarcely afford it anymore. And that's why I'm asking the God of Likes to entrust me. I'm walking on my way home now. When I get home, I want there to be 10 tons of gold waiting for me at home. God likes to entrust me. What would I do with it? I'd keep my job at the community colleges where I teach. I really would, because that's also good practice. I really would. But I'd probably go mingle with people more. I'd probably go out to eat 3 times a day. I'd probably go on more dates, right? Whether they be from my own finding or me offering rewards for people to do it. Both have been very good, right? I probably travel more. I probably go back to. I wouldn't spend as much time doing it anymore, but I would probably at least travel back to the Computer Olympiad conferences and just compete with whatever I have. Even if I lose last place, it's still a lot of good social practice. It really is. I probably. You get the idea, right? I probably do some extreme sports just to network with people. Maybe go climb Mount Everest or something, right? And I really liked it, but unfortunately, when I did the math, it's a mixed bag. The girl in Houston, she claimed she liked me but didn't feel the chemistry, and it's a mixed bag because I felt relieved that I at least didn't have to travel there anymore, right? At least not frequently. And the truth is that whether or not I hit it off with the girl, it was really good practice. I wish she lived in Phoenix because I believe if she did, we'd spend a lot of time together anyway, and I could practice or get to know one of her friends or some combination of that. I really think that would have worked. Unfortunately, she lives in Houston. Maybe if Elon Musk gets his way, trips to Houston could be just like a bus ride. What a bus ride is today, right? If that were the case, I'd probably go see her very often, actually. I have friends I am less close to her that I see much more often just because they're close by, right? All right, please pray for a financial miracle. This is the Peter Like Show. Bum, 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 bum. The Peter Like Show. Bum, 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 bum.